The weak revel in their aggression. The strong in their gentleness. Be more hard and less attack.
Good evening and a warm welcome to Big Budget Business, where we interact with entrepreneurs who are making strides in their respective fields. Today, we're speaking to Mr. Thobo Kerekang, an influential entrepreneur of the Keno brand. Thobo Kerekang, it's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you very much for having me, man. It's also an honor to be in your presence. I mean, we know how far we've both come.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We're from Lobatse. We're from the same school.
Hey, imagine.
We were like these together in school. So seeing you here, man, it's also an honor. I'm very proud of you, and I'm thankful for everything. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me, man.
Yeah.
Aish, right. So before we get into it, let me remind you that we are live. Please share your comments and questions if you have any for Mr. Thobo Kerekang. And as the show progresses, we will share a number that you can call into and hear your questions answered directly.
Yeah.
So to start things off, please give us a brief background about yourself personally.
Okay. Like I was telling you off the show, man, I'm terrible with introductions. I like my work speaking for myself, but Thobo Kerekang, I'd like to believe I'm still a young man from Lobatse. I was born in the late 80s, bred in the streets of Peeling A34.
Representing.
Shout out to Bundling Brands.
Bundling always.
I'm from a very closely knit, live, and vibrant family.
Okay.
Characterized by two things I can think of. Or let me just say three at the top of my head. We love our own company. My family loves meeting up. They're very, very lively people.
Wow.
Two, they love music. Three, they are very commerce driven. Music and commerce are two things that have defined Thobo Kerekang.
Absolutely.
Mahosi and me being the entrepreneur that I am.
Yes.
When I was a boy, my mom would play your Smokey Robinsons,
Wow.
your Celine Dion. But because I'm from Billing, man, I can't help, man. Grata Splash, you know what I mean?
It's whatever, you know.
It is what it is. But my grandfather sold firewood. My grandmother, my mother sold Tupperware. She's still doing the forever living hustle right now. So entrepreneurship, business runs in my veins. So it's no surprise when I was around, 8 years and so about, I was also selling sweets to raise money for different things that I was doing.
Yes.
So business has always been part of me, but don't get it twisted. I love school. I love learning.
Wow.
That's and
important.
I'm a corporate lawyer.
Yeah.
Studied law while juggling being an artist at the same time.
Yes.
It's all about interests, it's all about priorities, which we'll cover during the course of this interview. Wow. So I'm also a husband. I'm also a father.
Yeah.
I like keeping my personal life away from all of this.
Yeah.
For
but
reasons.
it's important to shout out.
No, definitely.
Once in a while.
Yeah, shout out to wifey, shout out to
you
the
already
kids.
know, man.
Yeah, so I'd like to believe I'm a trained lawyer,
yes,
but an entrepreneur by calling.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you've been able to juggle this even from the days of Rakshini, Mahosi, everything.
That's a very interesting question. I always get people asking me how I do it, how you're able, where do you find the time?
Yeah.
Look, it's all about priority.
Of course.
And when you get to a certain point in life, you'll realize it's all about what matters and what you prioritize. Because we all have the same 24 hours.
Of course.
But it's about how you spend it and what you spend it on.
Of course.
Yeah. So juggling, whether I'm able or not, look, it's about priorities and what needs to be done at that particular point in time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think before we even go anywhere, he's already spitting some wisdom right here for us, in the sense that we all have 24 hours, and what we decide to do with them is best placed if we put our priorities in order.
Definitely.
Because that seed that you plant today is what will yield a return tomorrow.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's all about returns, and time is a very important variable which we can't change or we can't get back.
Of course.
Unless you have a time machine. But you know what I mean? As far as things stand, so you need to make sure that whatever you do with your time is something which, as a business person, we always talk about returns. It's something that's going to give you returns at the end. I mean, this interview
Wow.
has to give me
It
returns.
will give you value. Believe you me.
Value. It's
Yeah.
about building the brand. It's about
course.
building your brand. It's
Of
about
course.
what do you invest your time in?
Yeah.
Is it business?
Mhm.
Is it being fit? Well,
Mhm.
I'll give you an example. After this, my trainer's coming through.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is it family?
Mhm.
So whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you spend your time on, make sure it's something that builds you as a person.
Of course.
That's what drives me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? You've actually gone way into this. I'm already enjoying this because I was going to ask what drives you, but you will get a bit more into that.
No, definitely.
So you did mention that the entrepreneurship culture, that was basically inculcated from a young age because you saw your granddad, your grandmom,
yeah,
as well as, excuse me, as well as your mother.
yeah.
So is this where you'd say the knack for entrepreneurship started?
Some things you learn consciously.
Okay.
Some things you learn without noticing that you're learning.
Okay.
So when you're in an environment where certain things happen and you always have to be the one assisting, hey, how about try the popcorn hard?
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, commerce,
Yeah.
trading,
You're in the operations.
service,
Yeah.
operations.
Yeah.
You learn how to deal with people. You learn how to deal with money. You learn how to, service people.
Of course.
So definitely, in as much as my parents didn't say get into business, this is how you sell or whatever, you end up learning these things by
By
virtue of-
default, yeah.
yeah, by default. You're always there, and you end up comprehending everything.
Wow.
So there's no in which I couldn't have been.
Well, so one could say that you were blessed in that respect.
Definitely,
Oh.
definitely.
Now, you happen to be an individual who, of course, has established a very strong brand for himself, and I must commend you for that.
I
Thobo Kerekang.
appreciate that. I wouldn't say strong. I guess I'm a modest person, but one thing that drives me is always to do better. You know what I mean?
But very humble. You are very modest.
But it's a panzola though. But we're very humble people.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I'm driven by wanting to do better,
Of course.
and building the brand has always been something I'm passionate about. As a business person, I'm always telling my colleagues, I don't call them employees, they're my team, they're my colleagues. And I always say, what's next in terms of growth?
Yes.
So it's very important. What's next in the Thobo brand? Where do
Yes.
you go? Where do you grow?
Yes.
Is always what I'm focusing on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So emphasis is on being so much more than you are at this current point in time.
You're only as good as your last performance, your
Yeah.
last appearance, or whatever. Other than
Absolutely.
that, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
And I always say, don't let the fame
Yes.
get to your head,
Of course.
and don't let the failures get to your heart,
Of
because you
course.
will fail.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
we're
true.
having a conversation, you and I, or it's been a long time coming. You're making it, you're pushing, and I'm saying it's all a process.
Of course.
I was having a
course.
conversation with somebody yesterday, and I was trying to bump an idea off them,
Mhm.
and she responded saying, "No, people are going to just go with it because it's you.
Wow.
It's not just it's me. You
There's
need
a
to
lot behind the
There's
you.
a lot behind me, but what you need to understand is it takes many years of hard work, which you don't see
Yes.
on social media or wherever, for me to get to a certain level.
Yes.
Quite long horror when I do something and then people will listen or whatever. But for you to get to that level, there's a lot of hard work that people don't see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, for instance, with some of us who want to build companies that will eventually list on stock exchanges.
Word.
A lot of these CEOs or these founding CEOs,
Yeah.
those who actually have share or equity within the businesses, that night of the listing,
Yeah.
or that morning when the New York Stock Exchange opens, a lot of people see that and we're like, wow, this guy became a billionaire overnight thanks to the listing. But people don't see the number of years and the amount of work that was put in for them to get to that point of listing and becoming billionaires.
Yeah, I think I also dream of listing, yeah?
It's important.
And yeah, that IPO. But yeah, it takes a lot of hard work, losing friendships, my brother, not attending family events. Not that you don't want to, but sometimes there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's the nature of life. That's the nature of business. But it's about how bad you want something.
Of course.
You have to lose something. Right now, I can't confidently say my friendships or the state of the is viable, because it's work, it's hustle, it's family,
Of course.
yeah, and
Priorities.
projects. You know what I mean?
Priorities.
Yeah. So hey, It's not easy, but it has to be done.
Of course.
And life is always going to be stretching you in different directions.
Yes.
I always say life is about finding that balance, and finding that balance is a very elusive concept. Family ya go batla, hustle ya go batla, projects di ya go batla, ditsala di ya go batla. This, so trying to reach that balance is just an elusive concept.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me remind you once again, we have Thobo Kerekang, very famous as a brand personally and with other brands that we'll get into. So please share your comments and questions. I can already see a lot of love coming from the hometown right there.
Oh,
Nteno
shout out to them.
Makatsane.
Ah,
Yes, shout out to Player.
Nteno.
He says
Bundling brand.
Bundling brands,
Yeah.
good going Jimbos, Offense, Jacob Saya, LOB stand up. Let's keep engaging, guys. And for those who have comments, questions, please do share them here. And as the show progresses, we will share a number that you can call into to get your questions answered. You know, you highlighted something very important there, in the sense that as entrepreneurs, sometimes there will be sacrifices that we have to make. But at the end of the day, we need to know what it is that we're striving for.
Definitely. I think I like tweeting and putting posts about this, especially within the BW context. We
Yes.
sing more praises than failures, which is why we end up a lot of SMEs, a lot of small businesses getting into a lot of trouble, which they can't exactly get out of because we are not told about what to expect.
You know, and that's a very telling statement, because what we try to do on this show, Big Budget Business, is ensure that people get the full picture. We're
Word.
not going to celebrate your successes only. We will ask you, what have your challenges been?
Yeah.
Because a lot of us are facing challenges and we need assistance.
And that's the narrative we need to emphasize, my brother, because you talk of Thobo, the brand.
Yeah.
You don't know about the money I've lost just this year in 2020, for example.
Imagine.
And I've lost gang money. Like I've
Wow.
lost a lot of money because of investments, because of projects. But you still call me a big brand.
And you still call me Big Budget.
Well,
And you don't know how much money I've lost too. No,
I
of
assume
course,
you
of
have a
course.
big budget. But the point is, we emphasize, you know, the victories, the
Yes.
successes more
Yes.
than the failures.
That's true.
But you need to understand as a business, as an entrepreneur, but there's a business person and an entrepreneur. You need to understand as a business person or as an entrepreneur that failures are part of the process. You should expect them. They are
course.
part of the process.
Of course.
And when they do come, they need to build you. You
Of
need to
course.
learn from them. You need to climb up from them. Because there's always going to be a challenge, my brother. And you need to be solution oriented. We thought, okay, I can wake up today and things are good.
Yes.
But when it hits 5 p.m., there's a crisis I'm supposed to manage.
Yes.
I'll give you a typical example, a live one right now.
Yeah.
I have to deal with a crisis
Wow.
at Keno, but I'm here smiling and it's all good. You need to grow to a certain level of maturity in business where you put yourself, you set yourself apart from the emotion. Hey, when the vision is clear, my brother, you're not running your business right, you should be passionate, but don't let it move you away from the target.
Of course.
Hey, eyes on the ball, like they say.
I like that. And a word that I picked up from there was, excuse me, we need to be solution oriented. I like that.
Yeah.
We need to adopt an approach of being solution oriented.
And we like taking this stance, madi ke mathata. When you get in business, you realize that it's not only about money. You get to a point whereby, okay, you'll have a good job. You get a good project. It pays off.
Yes.
But if you don't have the right mindset, the right team, the right structure, the right processes on how to deal with the money and manage the business, the money will all disappear.
Of course. Of course.
Score or just something.
Yeah.
But what say to deal
Exactly.
your character, you will blow the money away.
I like what we're getting into now, because we're getting personal with this.
Yeah.
My character.
Yeah.
I can hit that jackpot or that one good tender or
Yeah.
get something, one good client. But what is my character? Because that will influence my behavior with respect to what I do with that money.
Yeah.
So it's important for us to address this issue also of character and how to refine our characters as entrepreneurs.
Definitely. There's a manager.
Yes.
Then there's a leader.
Okay.
I did a course sometime last year through the Stellenbosch Business School. By the way, like I said, I love school and I'm always learning.
It's important.
I studied risk, I studied insurance, I studied business management, I did a bit of finance. So I'm always learning. Business is about learning and continually growing.
Yes.
And one module which I learned about was character building.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You need to have the mindset to be able to comprehend whatever situation that comes with. I talked about emotion. Now leadership is very important.
Yes.
Kore, money shouldn't be what drives you when you're in the business. because you have people that look up to you, people that rely on you. You've got employees, you've got stakeholders. And that's another aspect which I feel we always lack as SMEs.
Yes.
Yes. Once you get that money, you need to be seen on Instagram, you need to be seen on social media that you're making it. I think we push too much the narrative that you're making it more than actually making it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. And I was going to say, it's funny how you said this, you learned about character building.
Yeah.
Yes. And if there are any academics there within the business field, please include such aspects in your courses, in your modules. It's important for us, even as we study with theory, to understand how these character building aspects work when we're now actually in the deep end and
Yeah.
within the business space.
Definitely.
You know what, it's it's our Facebook here is blowing up.
Oh,
So
yeah. We can engage them.
Let's engage.
Yeah.
Even before we get into the businesses and what they do. Joey Mutivi, shout out to you, Joey.
Shout out to Joey.
Good evening, Big Budget, and your superstar of the guest, Mr. Thobo Kerekang. Right.
Shout out to
We're all
Joey.
superstars, man.
Oh, why?
And then he says, Kitseni Sikolole, that gentleman who has moved mountains and continues to do bigger and get better. I'm proud of him. Lefane ke mo gaisa ka ditlhaka.
Joey ne ke mo beat wa itse. Gape I was his head boy.
And then he says, anyway, he is a businessman of repute. But what I would love to know is what has been his major challenge, especially during the startup phase? And what advice would he give young entrepreneurs to reckon with when going into the thicket of business and ultimately entrepreneurship?
I love that question.
Mhm.
I love that question. And I hope what I will impart will not only speak to Joey, but to a lot of people out there who are in the startup phase. The great thing about B-Dub right now, I see a lot of potential.
Yes.
I see a lot of potential because we are at a level whereby everybody wants to do something of their own. I see that as great potential. But what people need to understand about business, Big Budget, is this.
Yes.
Business, it's a science, man. You need to be on top of all the other factors that I talked about. I gave an example with a colleague of mine the other day. It's like driving a car. What happens when you drive a car? You get in the driver's seat, right?
Yes.
You turn the key, you engage the gear. You have to focus on the road ahead of you.
Of course.
You have to keep checking the right mirror, the left mirror, or engage with the person who change the foot pedal, and you keep looking back.
It's a lot of multitasking.
It's a lot of multitasking all at the same time.
Wow.
And at the same time, there's a combi driver cutting you off, and he's
this is
doing
gas.
whatever. Character,
Yes.
management of the situation. One thing startups need to understand is some people will get lucky and be able to do it faster than you. But it takes time to get to a certain level.
Okay.
It takes a great deal of patience. It takes a great deal of perseverance. But one thing I talked about when I was with a bunch of colleagues the other day is being disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're disciplined, it's not about how you're feeling today. It's not about what happened at home. It's not about whether you're broke or not. You come to work.
Exactly.
You do what needs to be done.
Do what you gotta do.
You do it when it needs to be done. You do it how it needs to be done.
Of course.
When you talk to the client, it doesn't matter whether you had a fight with whoever or whatever. You service them,
of course,
efficiently.
Yes.
So entrepreneurs, give it time.
Okay.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Yes.
Focus on yourself. Focus on growing yourself. Focus on growing your business. Focus on your client.
Yes.
I was reading something by George Bezos.
Okay.
Amazon, and he was being asked a question on how or what he was doing for Amazon to be tripling its
bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. And he says we don't focus too much on the competitors.
Yes.
We have obsessive compulsive I forgot what he says, but it's focus with the client. Yes. Obsessive compulsive focus on the client.
Yes. Yes.
Forget who says what. Your client will tell you when your product is good. Your client will tell you when they're not happy with your service.
Of course.
Shape anything and everything, your processes, your system, to be client oriented.
Yes.
Obsessive compulsive focus with the client.
Yes. And then the rest will take care of itself.
Everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Businessman, you can tick all the boxes, Big Budget. You'll have this, you'll have a plan, you'll have AML policy, whatever, and still don't go right. It comes down to character, patience and
Absolutely.
perseverance.
Absolutely.
Everything will fall into place over time. Give it
Yes.
time. Do everything right, and it'll fall into place
It'll
over
fall into
time.
place, yes.
Rona yaanong re batla blow fast because your friend has started a business and they're making it. Somebody else has started their own show. They're making it. You're wondering, why am I not making
The
it?
whole bandwagon effect. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things take time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's that syndrome in BW when a new trend sets in. Everybody wants to go with that trend. Everybody wants to build demulti-res. Everybody wants to start up their own clothing line.
Oh, yes.
Everybody wants to be selling this or whatever. It's all about makeup. Hey, makeup.
Yes.
It's all about barbers now. Hey, barbers. Look, understand the context. Understand the environment in which you operate your business. And most importantly, what will set Thobo apart from the other people?
I was going to say, assess my motives.
Your motives.
What's going to differentiate my brand and my offering from yours?
Exactly. It's not like Keno introduced the suit.
Oh.
No.
I like that.
We didn't introduce a suit.
Mm.
We made owning a suit a certain way.
Yes.
We brought our own value proposition to the suit business because I call African Mall the suit capital of Botswana. Go to African Mall. Every turn, every 10 meters, every turn, wherever, you'll find a tailor. But we said, okay, how can we make our suits different from the ones out there? How can we tailor them different? How can we offer a competitive advantage in terms of our service, our product?
Of course.
That's what we need to focus on as SMEs, as people in the startup stage. What am I going to do different?
Yes.
How am I going to service my clients different? Customers want something that's cheaper, something that's better, quality, and faster service.
Of course.
Yeah. So how like about here's a loaf of bread. It's $5. I get it. Well, no, what? Hey, I'm bringing you as the same loaf, but it's now sliced.
Oh, yes.
The packaging is better.
Premium.
It's budget bread. BB.
Big budget bread. I like that.
Triple B.
I should trademark that.
I'm going to own it.
I should trademark that. Big budget bread.
Yeah. And it's actually 4.75.
Yes.
What do you think it's going to happen? People will go for what's enticing them, what's cheaper, and they can get it faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. And I like what you said there about us understanding our value proposition. What is that unique selling point about what I'm bringing?
Yeah.
Keno didn't invent suits.
Never.
No, but they said, no, we have a value proposition.
Yeah.
And to date, I'm sure the numbers are showing, okay, what you guys decided on was actually profitable.
No, definitely. I mean, 6 years in the business, we're still here. We're trying to see how we can grow and diversifying into other brands. I think we'll get into that.
Yes.
But, like I said, you can do everything right and still not get the desired result. But I'm not even going to lie and say we didn't grow. I mean, if we didn't grow, we wouldn't be having this interview right now. So it's a good sign, and we appreciate the growth. We learn from the challenges. Of course. We're grateful for the failures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. We have another comment here from Katleho, who says, failures are inevitable. Failures are also what makes a man stronger.
Word.
Of course, and a woman stronger too. And since they are inevitable, we should smile when they come, because in the long run, they build strength in us. Thank you so much for that, Katleho.
Word.
In the long run, the problems and the failures will build strength. We tend to talk a lot on the show about resilience. As an entrepreneur, you need to be resilient.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
You can't be an entrepreneur and lack that quality. It's important.
Katlego then goes on to say, the facts Thobo speaks 100. He should write a book.
I've actually thought of that. I'll get somebody to write it for me. I'll just sit there and talk from my experience.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Because a lot of people can learn from it.
I hope, but I like imparting knowledge.
Yes.
I get a lot of people requesting me to mentor them. Unfortunately, because of my priorities, I'm unable to do that. But I like sitting on platforms where I can preach to people.
And undertake multiple mentorship at that moment.
At that same time.
Exactly. Wow.
So yeah, in terms of writing a book, you never know, man.
I
don't like limits.
Oh yes.
I don't like limits.
I like how you said I don't like limits, and I said sky is the limit. So I'll take that statement back.
What?
Sky is not the limit, because he doesn't like limits.
I don't like being limited. I mean,
Yes.
I was a rapping lawyer.
Yes.
And law is it's deemed to be a serious profession. But here I was, and people would be calling me the rapping lawyer, the only MC with an LLB.
Only MC with an LLB.
Yeah.
Right. So, in case you have any questions for the only MC with an LLB, do call the number that's on the screen, and we'll be sure to address whatever concerns you have. Any questions about successes, challenges, business in general, we're here to engage. Let's see how we can grow our businesses as young people here in Botswana.
Yeah.
Right. So I was going to get into, besides, yes, the Thobo brand, what other businesses are you pushing? List your brands and tell us what they're about.
Okay, that's a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
Not that DDNC, but some you sign NDAs and legal instruments. But
Perfectly.
I'll stick
understandable.
to the more common ones. The
Okay.
Keno brand,
Yes.
Keno custom suits,
Okay.
Keno premium water,
Okay.
Keno scents,
Sense.
Keno corporate gifts. We actually have that,
Okay. Okay.
and others which will be known in the fullness of time.
This, I think, is a perfect example for us out there of diversification. This all started with Keno custom suits, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
right?
definitely.
And now there are offshoots.
Yeah,
We've got the Keno scents, we've got the premium water, we've
Yeah.
got the corporate gifts.
yeah.
It's amazing what one can do from just one brand that you started with and branching out. And how has that experience of branching out been?
I think it all comes down to your vision, your strategy, and your plan. When you start up in business, I'm in SME or whatever. Okay, this is my 5-year plan. This is what I want to have achieved within 5 years. I'm fortunate to have studied strategy development also as one of my short courses.
What have you not studied, my guy?
I haven't done my MBA yet, so so I'll encourage people to always strive to keep learning and applying it in business. That's very important. So what we do, we set on top of the targets, you have a vision. Where do you want to be as the Keno brand within 5 years? And then break it down to sizable chunks. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. And personally, diversity or diversification of a portfolio is something I've personally been passionate about.
Yes.
Something I look forward to. Entrepreneurs that I aspire to be like have a diversified portfolio. So I always talk about multiple streams of steady, sustainable income.
Great.
When COVID hits and people can't go to work, they don't wear your suits, and people can't go to weddings and they can't wear your suits, you'll still have other avenues to keep the brand going, keep the money coming in, keep the cash flow sustainable.
Yes.
You'll have the water, you'll have the perfumes, you'll have the corporate gifts. So the idea is about diversity, and diversity is not an easy thing, but growth is something you need to challenge yourself by.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can make change a constant, equate it with growth.
Yes.
Change to grow.
Okay.
Don't always think about this is where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, always level up. That's why we came up with the name Elevate for the perfume line.
Yes.
Yeah, Elevate is about moving from one level to another.
I like that.
Because you need to keep striving, you need to keep growing. So it's about inspiration. Sometimes you're going to have your down days.
Yes.
Big budget. It's part of life. You're going to have days where you don't feel like waking up because you're stressed because of the business and things are not going straight. But you need to elevate from the circumstances, my brother.
Of course.
You need to grow.
Rise beyond them.
Rise.
Yeah, above.
Yeah.
It's important what you're talking about, personal development.
Yeah.
And constantly growing. Because if we find ourselves stuck in one place, we might not be able to adapt to the times. And also, you mentioned multiple streams of income. There's a lady that I've been dealing with, and she mentioned to me that she heard somewhere that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income.
True.
So the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So we still got a lot of work to do, a lot of us.
Definitely. Yeah, but I always say don't be average.
Of course.
Yeah,
yes,
even 3
great.
streams of
that's
good
great.
income can actually get you to a certain level.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. But definitely stop thinking beyond just salary.
Yes. So stop thinking beyond just that one thing.
Yeah.
Open your mind to other aspects and other avenues that could potentially be even more profitable.
Definitely. Yeah. And we also need to break the stereotype that you need to quit your job and become a business person to make money.
That's important.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about that one?
It's in as much as I was celebrating the current business culture where people are being entrepreneurial.
Yes.
We are now taking the narrative that it's like it's wrong for you to be working. Like you are weak when you're working. Like you need to leave your job or quit your job and start a business. No. I always encourage people, use your job to
Yes.
fund your business. Use your job to be a platform for your dreams.
Quite a
Salary,
perspective.
yeah, salary ya
Yes.
gago a nne yone e leng gore ya go thusa.
Of course.
Personally, the skills that I've learned in my 8 to 5 as a lawyer are immeasurable to how they have contributed towards assisting me and my small businesses. Because through the corporate, I've learned about systems, I've learned about processes, I've learned business continuity plan, I've learned about anti-money laundering. Those
Which
are just
you apply now in the entrepreneur.
yes, I've learned about risk management matrices, which I apply to my small business. So but there's nothing wrong with going to school and working for someone. We have different objectives in life. Don't victimize somebody who says or sees value
in what they're doing.
In what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong in somebody going to school and working for motho yo mongwe.
Of course.
Provided it's part of their plan, it's part of what they want in life. We have different values.
Yes. Yes.
And we need to understand that.
Objectives, yeah, they differ.
True.
But I like how you did say that should not stifle a person or make them feel that they can't venture into or necessarily, actually what you said was that they should necessarily quit their job for them to focus fully on the business. It's possible to juggle the two.
It's possible, but it'll take up your time. I'll explain that further. But what you need to understand is sometimes we are why our businesses die. Because
we are why our businesses die.
Yeah, because
he's a rapper.
It comes natural. But that's because your business is able to sustain a certain amount of expenditure.
Yes.
Looking at how it's operating. When I know you will quit your job and you will come with your personal liability, join your small business and expect it to maintain or sustain that lifestyle you were living when you're doing the 8 to 5. And that's how we end up killing them. Maintain your 8 to 5.
Yes.
Hire somebody who can run it for you efficiently.
Yes.
The way you want.
The business, that is.
The business, definitely.
Yes.
Because your vision has to be translated and communicated to them. That's also important. Leadership in building your team. But understand that there's a separate legal personality between yourself and the business. Of course. Your debts are your debts. Your business debts are the business debts. So we kill our businesses by having them, our small businesses. Didn't finance.
We don't give them the chance that they need to grow.
They need to grow.
We don't plant back into them.
Yeah. That's why corporate governance, something I've learned in my 8 to 5, is crucial. Even in running in our small businesses. Unfortunately, the way we've been raised, tuck shop we don't separate the two. But for people like you who are educated, who understand issues of things like body listing and separation of accounts, it's very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We could have a whole session about these things. We should look into that. What do you think?
Yeah. No. Definitely.
We have another comment here from Bakang Molelo who says, the gentleman is on point. I wish most Botswana would listen to the facts he has. The entrepreneurship in this country would be more meaningful. Thanks a lot for that, Bakang Molelo.
Yeah.
Right. Once again, I'm sure you can see the number on the screen that we've shared. Do call in if you'd like to ask any questions and keep those comments and questions coming. Let me also, now that we've spoken about the brands that you and the businesses basically, I wanted you to delve a bit more into what drives you. You did mention something about what motivates you, but let's look at you at a personal level. What drives the man?
I consider myself a very goal-oriented, ambitious person. So what drives me is the need to do better. The need to be successful. Constant improvement. I bet you're going to ask, what do I mean by being successful? How do I define success?
Yes, success. How and when do I say I'm successful?
Good point. One, success to me is about personal improvement as for myself,
Mhm.
bettering myself as well as those around me
Absolutely. Yeah.
and my community and my family. That's what success is for me. When do I define success? I've got a saying, hey, I celebrate small victories. I'm gonna
Yes.
celebrate this victory.
Much
What is
appreciated.
yeah,
Much appreciated.
you have to have small goals and big goals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And cherish those steps that you
And
get.
celebrate the small victories,
Yes.
because those little goals, when you attain them, are what you need to fuel you and keep you going.
Absolutely.
I will celebrate the fact that I was on this show because it's progress.
Thank you.
I
Man.
will
Thank you.
celebrate having a new perfume.
Yes.
I will
Yes.
celebrate dropping sparkling water, flavored
Yes.
water.
Yes.
The same way I'll celebrate coming to your show.
Mhm.
Because success, though we define it differently, should be about progress, not perfection,
Yes.
progress.
Progress, not
Moving
perfection.
forward. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we make those small victories on our business journeys, let's cherish them because those are what we can use to fuel ourselves and get
Definitely.
to where the long-term vision is.
Precisely.
Wow. Thanks
Eyes
so
on the
much for
ball.
that.
Yeah.
Eyes on the ball. You know, I was then going to ask, is there any social or community development work that you are involved in outside of, let's say, the corporate law and the business?
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
question. I've got a casual line called Spanam Fana.
Okay.
Spanam Fana denim rira di sport, rira jean jackets, rira jeans and stuff like that.
Spanam finance and work, boy.
Exactly.
Work, boy.
Cause you gotta work.
Exactly. Exactly.
Spanam Fana's got a social movement to it called
Yes.
Spanam Fana Sessions.
Okay. Okay.
As I alluded to earlier, I couldn't find the time to just, mentor people. We decided that we'll come up with a platform whereby young men, and I'll explain why young men, will meet and talk about all kinds of issues that affect
Just a
them.
second. Just a second. Sorry to interject there.
Yeah.
I think we have a call. Hello, caller. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Are you able to hear us?
Okay, guys, I can't really hear you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, we can hear you. We can definitely hear
But,
you.
let's just say, in case you can hear me, this one is for you, Thobo, ne?
Yes, sir.
I'll just get to listen to your answer offline. How are you able to balance being a family man and an entrepreneur? How kore ke bona ekare o motho a na le a way of how you can balance all this, what is happening in your life? So maybe if you could just give us a tip on how you are able to balance that, looking at the fact that yeah, being newly married. All right, I'll get offline. Your line is not really clear.
Thanks so much for that. Let me just reiterate once again that we can hear you on this end. Should you call and not be able to hear us, please just remember to introduce yourself and then shoot straight with your question. We'll sort the technicalities out. So I think you got the question there.
Yeah, basically, it's about how I'm able to balance being newly married. Shout out to my wife. We celebrated 1 year in marriage the other day. And yeah, having 2 kids. How do I balance?
Wow.
Hey,
Congratulations.
thank you very much. But yeah, man, that question, big budget. Look, I talked about trying to find a balance.
Yes.
And it's not easy, and I'm not going to pretend that it's easy.
Mhm.
Because you need to make sacrifices.
Yes.
But one
Yes.
thing you need to
Yes.
understand is your family, just as much as business, needs to also be a priority. Hey, Masaru toka go bona,
Yes.
bana ba toka go bona. You
Go
don't want kids
botlhokwa.
growing up with
Yeah.
a father but without a father.
That's
You
true.
know what I
That's
mean?
true.
When
That's
out
true.
like I'm hella, but there's no bond or relationship with them.
Mm.
So, in as much as my plate seems to be full and regarding business and everything like that, I make sure that I have time for them and I spend time with them.
Yes.
So my wife was also an entrepreneur. So
Okay.
the good thing is we're able to have a common ground now on matters of business.
Yes. 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 That's
When I have
important.
engagements, sometimes I bring her along, even
Yes.
though she chooses not to most of the time. But it comes back to issues of priority. Family is also important, eh?
Mhm. Absolutely.
Family gives me that balance. So I have a specific day in the week where I'm busy.
Mhm.
I'm busy doing nothing with the family
Yes.
and just chilling and playing with
Yes.
them and watching TV and watching your Peppa Pigs.
Yes, that's important.
Very important. It's part of the process.
Let me just let you know, I'm also taking notes. Huh?
Oh, you
I'm
better.
taking notes.
You better be. Yeah, but I'm not even going to be try and sugarcoat it.
Yes.
I talked about those sacrifices.
Yes.
There will be those late nights, my brother. There will be those early mornings. I remember in the first, Donald, my partner, can attest to this, huh? In the first 3 years or so,
Yes.
you get a call from a client needing something wherever, and you need to wake up and get up.
Yeah.
Which is why also picking, I'm not a marriage counselor or anything, but picking the right person is also very crucial, because your partner also needs to be goal oriented. They need to
Yes.
understand why you're leaving now or why you're coming home late.
Because you
Hey.
don't want to be having another headache
Hey.
after the business headache.
Bruh.
Hey.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No,
I
you
just thought
got
I
notes.
should, I just thought I should put it out there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very important. Yeah, knowing or sharing your goals with your partner.
Of course.
Yeah,
of
I think
course.
one other thing that we fail to do, especially Borre, I'll speak to Borre because I've seen it happening a lot with them. Because the hustler, quote unquote, we don't quite share the hustle with our partners.
Yes.
We don't quite sit down and say, "Hey, baby girl, this is my plan.
Of course.
This is where I want us to go."
Go together.
Yeah, it won't be easy, but you need to hold my hand, I need to hold yours.
Of course.
There'll be times where I'm away, but when you, how it does go, when you make it, come back to baby girl and show that I've made it. Appreciate her for her time.
Yes.
Because sometimes her not being there doesn't mean she's not there with you in heart and spirit.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's deep, bro.
Yeah.
That's deep, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fact.
So we actually, the question there was from Karabo Malon Matuba. Thanks so much for the call.
Thanks,
He
Karabo.
just mentioned that he had forgotten to introduce himself.
Yeah.
There is also a question here from Donna K. She says, when would you say it's ideal, or what needs to happen in order for one to make the move from 8 to 5 to entrepreneurship?
Woo.
I think we touched a bit on that.
Yeah,
though.
we did. I don't encourage making the move immediately. Try and tick the boxes. Make sure the business, you need to understand the different stages in business, right?
Of course.
There's the startup stage, there's the growth stage, and there's the mature stage. I would say make it when you're at when the business is at the mature stage.
Absolutely.
Not when
That's
you're
great.
at the startup.
Yes.
Not when it's growing. When it's well established to run itself.
Yes.
Self-sustaining.
Yes. That's the maturity we're talking about.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Because there are multiple challenges which you're going to face when you're in business. And one notion I've always heard, when you're not there in business, you can't exactly know what's happening. It's always best when you come. And let me also make this disclaimer.
Yes.
You can only know best sometimes when it's your circumstances. I will speak from my experience.
Absolutely.
But you need to interrogate, introspect, and understand your business environment and find out what works best for you under those prevailing circumstances.
Absolutely.
I can only give you what I know based on my experience and what I've read.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it all comes down to your situation.
And thank you very much for that disclaimer, because situations will be different. My journey might be different from Donna's, as she's asking, and then yours as Thobo's would also be different. So this self-assessment is very important in business.
Precisely.
So as the business is going through its startup, its growth, and its maturity phase, I should constantly undertake, those SWOT analysis and constantly just assess where we stand.
Exactly.
Is it really time for me to jump ship or not?
Very important.
Thanks so much.
There's the S curve in the growth of the business.
We're getting technical. I said, we need a session for this.
No, definitely. We can arrange one.
Because baby Mohapi actually says, if only the gentleman can be given a platform to share his experience with potential entrepreneurs. So I'm going to hold you to account for that.
Yeah, no, you'll engage me. We'll arrange,
absolutely.
definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
Shouldn't be an issue. It's a subject I'm very passionate about. It's just that, like I said, sometimes my commitments don't exactly allow for me to be sharing what I know, the little that I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the S curve. There's a point whereby, my brother, the brand won't grow.
Okay.
There's a point where sales won't come in.
A point of stagnation. Basically.
Stagnation. Plateau. What do you do when that happens?
Yes. All right.
That's when you need to be inventive and come up with other growth avenue strategies like perfumes, like water. diversification.
Thinking outside.
Thinking
Of
outside.
what
I
you
don't
are.
like thinking out. I mean, I don't like thinking within the box. I don't
Yeah.
like limits.
Yes, exactly. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much for that. Guys, keep your comments and questions coming. This is a really engaging interview. Thank you so much for your time. And also, it's not that we're going yet. I just wanted to say keep the calls coming, keep the comments coming. Before the call came in, I had asked, you were talking about your social initiative,
Oh yes.
Spana
Oh yes.
Mfana.
Spana Mpana. Hey man, we're talking about a lot. I'd actually forgotten about that, but that's important.
Mhm.
So we decided to come up with a platform. E leng hore ra kopana re le majita. Ke tla tla ke tlhalosa gore why re le majita. E be re bua. We'll talk about anything from business,
Yes.
social issues,
Mhm.
sexuality,
Yes.
gender-based violence.
Of course.
Yeah.
Topic of the day.
Topic of the day. And the rationale or the motive behind this was to see how best, and it was targeting men
Mhm.
of all ages.
Yes.
So I'd have teenagers coming through, I'd have guys who are still in varsity coming through, I'd have professionals coming through, and we'll talk about religion, like I said, social issues and all that stuff, to impart knowledge and guide each other.
Sounds like a great initiative. Yeah.
Because the girl child
Yes.
o tlhoka go guidiwa, o tlhoka go thusiwa.
Yes.
And on issues yaka GBV,
Yes.
99% of the time men are the perpetrators.
Mhm.
So that platform was for us to like introspect on a lot of issues.
Absolutely.
Re thusane. My brother, hold my hand.
Yeah.
Because as Borre wa itse gore we're not very vocal people.
Absolutely.
I talked about bringing your partner and making her part of the journey. We don't really
It's
do
very
that.
difficult.
Yeah. I don't know. So we always try and understand what is it the society? Is it
an ego thing?
Is it an ego thing? Why aren't we really vocal, guys? Would you call me after having a fight with your wifey and say, "Hey, no man, this is what's going on"? No.
It's very difficult, yeah.
And it affects everybody. So we were just trying to come up with a platform where we empower each other so that we become better men to our women.
That's great. So that we become better men
Yeah.
to our women.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they can have the positive male models in their lives.
Definitely.
That
Better
sounds
role
like a
models.
wonderful initiative.
Yeah, we're not trying to be perfect, but there's always room to be better.
Yeah.
So it was a platform to see how we can better ourselves as Borre in our society.
Absolutely.
And because of COVID, we're having a bit of challenge meeting up and all. But definitely the will is there. And people are always asking me when Spana and Fana will happen. It will happen.
It will happen.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So a lot, a lot of us should ensure that we participate as young men, young, old,
Yeah,
just men
as
across the
men in
board,
general,
right?
yeah.
Yes, let's see how we can get into this Spana Mfana aspect.
Yeah.
Now, I think the last thing that we'd probably want to know, what was the last book that you read that you felt was quite impactful for you?
Ooh. I'd say, I've been reading, especially during the lockdown, but one that comes to mind right now. Oh, let me just. Am I allowed two? I don't like being limited. I'm just gonna say two, man.
Take it away. Take it away, because it'll help all of us.
Shoe Dog
Okay.
by Phil Knight.
All right.
If you're a sneakerhead like myself, you know Phil Knight. Phil Knight is
Nike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Phil Knight, let me just give you a quote at the top of my head. He talks about having a crazy dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're an entrepreneur, you will encounter people who call you crazy but don't understand the context within you operate. Phil Knight says, chase that dream. No matter how crazy it sounds, no matter how crazy they call you, chase that dream until you attain that dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chase that crazy dream. I'm sure you entrepreneurs and young people are listening out there. Let's chase that crazy dream.
Yeah.
You were saying there were two.
Outliers.
Oh, yes.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yes.
Oof.
Now that's a book right there.
That's all I'll say.
There.
Yeah.
Please, guys. So you said it was Shoe Dogs
Yeah. Shoe Dog and Outliers.
Shoe Dog and Outliers.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get our hands on those books and see what we can learn from them.
Definitely.
Mr. Kerekang, let me thank you very much for your time. I'm sorry we have to cut it short, but it's
it's
such a
already time.
conversation. Imagine, I mean, wow, we need to do like a sequel to
Definitely.
the prequel. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I'm
as a
game.
rapper, a sequel to the prequel.
I got you.
Yeah, no, definitely. But let me thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
All right. So before we end the show, let's just go for a quick commercial. We'll be right back.
ZebraNet Fiber to the Home offers high dedicated speeds ranging from 5 megabytes per second to 100 megabytes per second. Why stay up at night to get better speed? Subscribe to our FTTH packages, offering each member of the family the flexibility to simultaneously surf, stream, and download all at the same time. Where there is internet, there is ZebraNet.
All right, so today's 2-minute tip. A lot of us tend to struggle when it comes to deciding what to include on our business plans. So today we'll speak briefly about what you might want to have on your basic business plan structure. Number one, have your business summary. Your business summary will basically talk about the business itself and maybe the products and services and maybe a few lines about the purpose of your business. Number two, speak about market opportunity. Once you've introduced your business, speak about why there is a need for your business to be operating in the market. And then, of course, after this, number two, market opportunity. Number three, speak about your people or your human capital. In your business plan, put the key individuals in the business as well as their roles and responsibilities. After the people section, you get into number four, implementation. Implementation basically speaks to the how. What steps do you intend to take to ensure that your business operates successfully? And of course, if there are any financial implications to this, state them in that section of your business plan. And then lastly, discuss contingencies. Contingencies are basically anything that could go wrong as you undertake your business. So it's important to mention the contingencies and also what your intended responses and measures are to mitigate these contingencies if they do occur. So once again, in a nutshell, your basic business plan structure: 1, the business summary; 2, market opportunity; 3, people or human capital; 4, implementation; and 5, your contingencies. It's been quite a wonderful and engaging show. Thank you so much for tuning into Big Budget Business. From me, Big Budget, and the team, it's good night, God bless, and never forget that you were born for so much more.
They say a baobab is a tree of life. Some people believe that if you pick a flower from a baobab tree, you will be eaten by a lion. But we believe that when you touch it, it gives you life. Our greatest gratitude to the amazing team, and most importantly to you for trusting us with bringing your vision to life. We are Moana Pictures. We are Team Fearless.